In this video, we are going to be going through why time is going so fast and how to change that. But first, don't you feel like New Year was just a few months ago? Think about it. There are songs you still remember word for word that came out over a decade ago. Movies that feel recent until you realize they are old enough to have anniversaries. People you haven't seen in years still exist in your mind exactly as they were. And then one day you look at the calendar and wonder, where did all that time go? It's a strange feeling, almost like life is speeding up, like each year disappears faster than the last. But what if that's not what's happening? What if time isn't actually moving faster? But if you are just not looking at it the correct way? The feeling that life is slipping away has less to do with age and more to do with attention, because almost everyone feels this. That unsettling sense that years are accelerating, but very few people stop long enough to ask why. And if you have ever felt this, you are not alone. Think back being a kid. A single summer felt enormous. 3 months felt like a lifetime. The last day of school arrived and it felt like an entire world was waiting for you. Weeks felt long, a year felt huge, but then something changed. Now you blink and it's Friday. You blink again and it's Christmas. You blink one more time and somehow another year is gone. The strange part is that the clock hasn't changed. An hour is still 60 minutes. A day is still 24 hours. And yet, those 24 hours seem to disappear faster than ever. Most people have an explanation for this. They will tell you it's just a part of getting older. And they are not wrong. Age does play a role. But that's not the whole story. Because if getting older were the only reason, then everyone would experience time the exact same way. But they don't. Some years feel packed with life. Others vanish completely. So what if the feeling that time is speeding up isn't really about time at all? What if it's about something else? Something far more personal, something that's happening inside your own mind. Because once you understand why life feels faster, you start to see something important. Not just why the years seem to disappear, but how to make life feel fuller, richer, and maybe even a little longer. To understand what's happening, we need to stop thinking about clocks and start thinking about our memory. Because here's something most people never realize. Your brain doesn't actually experience time. A clock measures in seconds, minutes, and hours, but your brain measures something very differently. It measures moments and memories. Think about it. When you look back on your life, you don't remember it as a timeline. You remember special moments, a birthday party, a road trip, the smell of your grandparents' house, the first time someone broke your heart. Your memory is less like a calendar and more like a photo album, and that's important. The more vivid memories it can find, the larger that period feels. The fewer memories it finds, the smaller it becomes. Imagine 2 different weeks. In the first week, you wake up, go to work, come home, watch the same shows, scroll the same apps, go to bed, and then repeat it. Nothing special happens. Now imagine a different week. You visit a new city, get lost on unfamiliar streets, meet new people, try food you have never tasted before, see places you have never seen. Both weeks lasted exactly 7 days. No difference at all. But months later, they won't feel the same. You won't even remember that boring week. But the week when you were traveling, it stays alive, filled with details. The faces, conversations, and unexpected moments. When you look back, it feels bigger and longer, almost as if more time existed inside it. Because the feeling of long life isn't created by how much time passes. It's created by how much of that time your brain actually records. And that's where modern life starts creating a problem. So if memory is what makes life feel long, what determines what gets remembered, it's attention. Attention is the front door to memory. Before your brain can store an experience, it has to notice it first. And that's where things get complicated. Because attention has become one of the most valuable resources in the world. Every news, video, advertisement, and algorithm is competing for a tiny piece of your focus. Think about how often your attention gets interrupted. When you are eating dinner, your phone buzzes. When you talk to someone, a notification appears. Even during moments that should feel meaningful, part of your mind is somewhere else. It's like trying to read a book while someone changes the page every 10 seconds. Sure, you might see all different informations, but how much of that actually stays with you? And that's the strange paradox of modern life. We are consuming more than any generation before us. More videos, more articles, more updates. More information in a single day than people once encountered in weeks. Yet somehow our experience often feels thinner, less memorable and less real. Imagine looking through a window covered in the dust. The world outside hasn't changed. The colors are still there. The details are still there, but less of it reaches you. That's what fragmented attention does. It doesn't remove life, it blurs it. Moments pass through your awareness without ever fully landing. Conversations become background noise. Meals become something that happens while watching something else. And when your brain later searches for memories, there's less to find because you can't remember what you never truly noticed. The more divided your attention becomes, the fewer moments get fully recorded. And when fewer moments get recorded, entire weeks, months, even years can start to feel like they disappeared. But distraction is only the half story. Attention isn't the only thing shaping your experience of time. There's another force at work, one that's much quieter and much easier to miss, which is repetition. Think about some of the moments that stand out most in your life. Your first day of school, your first date, your first trip to another country. Years later, you can still remember pieces of those memories. The sounds, the emotions, the nervous excitement, the feeling that you were stepping into something unknown. And why? Because your brain pays special attention to things it has never seen before. Novelty grabs hold of your awareness. It tells brain, this matters, save this. And the more new experiences you have, the more mental landmarks get created. More landmarks mean more memories. More memories make a period of life feel larger when you look back on it. Now think about childhood. Almost everything was new. New friends, new places, new skills, new fears, new discoveries. The world felt enormous because you were exploring it for the first time. Every week added something unexpected. Every year felt packed with experiences. But adulthood often looks different. You find a routine. You wake up at the same time, drive the same roads, see the same places, have the same conversation. And again, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Routine can be comfortable, productive, and necessary. But routine has a side effect. When days become too similar, your brain stops treating them as separate experiences. It starts grouping them together. Monday blends into Tuesday. Tuesday blends into Wednesday. Before long, an entire month can feel like a single memory. Picture a child walking through a forest for the first time. Everything is fascinating. Every sound matters. Every path feels like an adventure. Now picture an adult taking the exact same route for the 1,000th time. The forest hasn't changed, but the experience has. One mind is discovering and the other is predicting. And that's the difference. A routine is easy to live through and easy to lose. Not because it never happened, but because your brain struggled to distinguish it from the usual days. And once you see this, a strange realization appears. You have probably experienced this countless times, driving somewhere and arriving with almost no memory of the trip. You remember getting in the car, you remember getting out, but everything in between feels like it happened on autopilot. The road was there, the buildings were there, but your mind barely registered any of it. Or maybe you have opened your phone for just a minute, then suddenly an hour is gone. You have watched dozens of videos, seen hundreds of posts, absorbed a flood of information. Yet if someone asked what you actually remember, what would you say? Sometimes an entire evening disappears like that. Maybe even an entire weekend. Think about the last month of your life. Not the date, not the calendar, the actual experiences. How many specific moments can you remember right now? How many stand out clearly? Now compare that to something different. Maybe it was meeting someone new, a conversation that lasted hours, or an unexpected trip. A moment that broke your routine. Notice what happens. The details come back much more easily. Those moments occupy far more space in your memory than they occupied on the clock. And that's fascinating, because a single meaningful afternoon can sometimes feel larger than an entire ordinary week. This isn't just about memory, it's about how much life we are actually living. Because when you really think about it, life isn't measured in years, it's measured in the moments we notice, the moments we feel. And the strange thing is, some of the most important moments in our lives don't look important at the time, they look ordinary. Do you remember your last childhood summer? The last summer when you spent whole days outside without thinking about bills, careers, deadlines, or responsibilities? A completely normal day. Until years later, you are at this point thinking about it, and suddenly that ordinary event becomes priceless. We rarely know when a moment is important while we are inside it. We are always looking ahead, planning and worrying. Meanwhile, life is happening right now, quietly in the background. And maybe that's why the years seem to disappear. The tragedy isn't that the life is short. is that so much of it passes unnoticed. How many beautiful ordinary moments have already happened in your life without you realizing they were beautiful? How many are happening right now? But this isn't a hopeless story. In fact, it's the opposite. Because if attention and novelty shapes our experience of time, then we can shape it too. Not by finding some secret way to add more hours to the day, but by changing how we move through those hours. Think about it. When was the last time you did something for the first time? A different route to home, a new hobby, a conversation with someone you would normally walk past, a place you have never meant to visit. Your brain loves novelty. It wakes up when something unexpected happens. It starts paying attention again, and attention is where memories begin. So maybe the goal isn't to completely reinvent your life. Maybe it's to experience new things, more small discoveries, more moments that break the pattern, and just as importantly, protect the moments that already matter. Put the phone down during dinner. Listen fully when someone is telling you a story, because the most meaningful moments in life rarely announce themselves. They are often quiet. Sunlight coming through a window, a laugh that lasts a little longer than usual, the kind of moments that seems insignificant today but becomes precious years later. Children don't experience time slowly because they are young. They experience it slowly because they are paying attention. Everything fascinates them. Somewhere along the way, many of us stopped looking. We stopped noticing. We stopped wondering. But we can choose to start that again. Because here's the truth. You cannot slow the clock. Tomorrow will arrive. Next year will arrive. But you can expand your experience of time. You can fill your days with moments that leave a mark. So next time you catch yourself wondering where all that time went, remember this. Maybe the secret isn't getting more time. Maybe it's noticing more of the time you already have. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this, is that you are not the only one who feels this way. We all lose ourselves in the rush sometimes. We all look back and wonder where the time went. But maybe today, after this, we will pay a little more attention, and maybe that's enough to make life feel a little bit more alive. Thank you.